Therefore, brethren, stand fast, and hold the traditions which ye have been taught, whether by word or our epistle. 2 Thessalonians 2:15. Brethren, Paul bids you stand fast, not in some dusty creed, but in the living seed buried within your own skull. Hold the traditions, he says. Traditions not of worn ritual, but of the consciousness that first spoke itself, I am. These traditions came to you by word or epistle, that is, by breath and by letter, yet both point always to the same one voice, your own inner I am. To stand fast is to refuse every outer idol, every man-made authority, and to insist upon the eternal pattern lodged in you. Moses, God's plan in germinal form, was shown on the mountain and then buried in your being. These teachings you have been given are the detailed map of that pattern. Cling to them. By faith assume their reality. Let no denial of sense or reason divert you, for every evidence against is but Pharaoh's challenge to your freedom. When you hold fast to this inner tradition, the rod of God, your spinal cord, begins to glow with the fiery serpent of creative power. The promise germinates. You will feel the first green shoot of awakening, the first eruption that testifies you are alive to the divine within. You become the Moses who speaks, I am the Lord, and by that very word you perform signs in your own world. Paul's injunction is simple. Refuse every counterfeit. Whether spoken by friend or written on parchment, any teaching that draws you outward is a denial of the only God, your own I am. Stand fast in the consciousness of your buried Messiah seed. Guard the tradition of your I am identity. In that faithful holding, Joshua will appear, and the promised land of your eternal self will open before you. Here, stand fast and hold the traditions point to two inner states. Stand fast is your unshakable self-awareness as the divine I am, the Moses state buried in your consciousness. Holding the traditions is the inner habit of preserving the law pattern you've been taught, the convictions, the vivid assumptions, the present tense awareness that you already are what you desire. In other words, it describes the shift from a fragmented, doubting mind to a unified, obedient self that refuses to yield to outer circumstance. The verse maps exactly how creation unfolds. First, you are led out of Egypt by an inner voice that says, I am, and then you maintain that voice. Traditions here are not external rituals, but the living word, your imaginative assumptions and inner declarations. By holding them, you keep the creative seed alive. The moment you cease to assume your desire fulfilled, the germ returns to dormancy. Manifestation is simply the law of identical harvest. You reap what you continually sow in consciousness. This text reveals your divine power to govern your own inner world. The traditions you hold are actually your self-worship of the one true God within your own I am presence. By consciously maintaining the inner law, you step into rule as Israel, to be like God. You become the living rod and fiery serpent of creative power, healing not just your outer life, but birthing new realities from within. Begin by gently discerning the inner traditions you have been rehearsing, those assumptions and mental declarations that shape your reality. Each day, choose one essential belief, whether it is wealth, health, or love, and affirm it in the present moment with conviction. I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am loved. When doubt arises, stand fast in silent observance of your fear without yielding, then lovingly redirect your attention back to the truth you have chosen. As evening falls, replay a vivid scene of your desire already fulfilled, anchoring both the feeling and the simple words, I am, deep within your heart. Then, upon awakening, remember that all creative power is contained in this single phrase and hold it steady as you move through your day. In doing so, you literally stand fast in your divine identity, holding the traditions that draw God's plan of salvation, your own eternal fulfillment, into the reality you experience now.